Hi, I'm Dalia Colon here in Riverview, Florida at the Muscovy Sanctuary of Florida. And for today's Muscovy Minute, I'm joined by Gail Dixon and a very special guest, Stinky. Welcome to you both.
Say thank you.
So tell me about Stinky.
Stinky came to us when he was about 5 weeks old from some wonderful women. They found him right about the same time they lost their mother. And as a result, you have this tiny little cute duckling. They carried him around everywhere they went. And it worked well until he got a little bigger. And then, it wasn't quite so easy. So they brought him to us. But unfortunately, the day before they brought him to us, they did what a lot of people do. They tried to release him into a flock of wild Muscovies thinking they would take care of him. They tried to kill him instead, which is actually what happens. And so when he got to us, he was so afraid of any ducks, even the ducklings, that I literally had to hold him and carry him around with me everywhere I went because he would freak out. They're like toddlers, imprints are. That's what we call them whenever they've only been around people as babies and not other ducks. And they basically imprint themselves on whatever's moving the most around them. So he imprinted on people, and so he thinks he's a human, or at least he did. He's actually become a very big success story for us as far as turning into a duck.
Now, what can happen when the duck imprints onto a particular person and then that person is no longer around?
It's hard. People always worry because by the time they bring him to us, they're like, this is my baby, but I can't keep him. And they always worry, okay, is he going to miss me? Well, he's going to miss the normal kind of life that he's had because they've been living in the house and they've been part of the family. And so it's a change of lifestyle. That's the biggest thing that's different for him. They don't usually particularly miss the people that they were with, but they do attach themselves to individuals. And like Stinky is really close to me because I took care of him when he was tiny. What? You are? Yes. And so it's an adjustment. They're a lot like babies. I keep them with me when they're young. I keep them with me 24/7. I get a babysitter if I can't be with them.
My goodness.
Because the last thing we want is an upset duck, right, baby?
So how's he doing today with the other ducks?
Oh my goodness. Like I said, he is a success story to us. We always want them to be able to be ducks. So we want them to enjoy a ducky kind of lifestyle because that's what's actually that's what's natural to you. Don't do that. And so for him, slowly but surely he got to where he actually wanted to be around the ducks. At first he was afraid of them, and then slowly he got to it. But then there was a girl duck that was about his age. Her name's Rosie. And she used to follow him around like he was her world. And he couldn't have cared less about her. He was all for the humans, and she was determined. So she followed him. And eventually, when his hormones kicked in, which is what tends to be the hardest part with imprinted males in particular, they want to mate with the humans. And that's a whole other issue. But this way, he had Rosie, and since she'd been so determined. And so he figured that one out. And then he went on to being able to live outside with other ducks, yes. And now he has his own harem of Rosie and 2 girls. She's the chief wife. And the other 2 girls. And he is actually in charge of his little mini flock out there, which is, it's very surprising to me for an imprint to go that far.
Wow, he's a ladies' man. Now, I'm almost afraid to ask, but how did Stinky get his name?
The people that had him before didn't really introduce him to water that much, so he didn't like to bathe. So, duck, stink. He was stinky, and he was a little stinker.
Aww.
So, yes, you were.
Wow, well, Stinky, you did such a great job with your interview today. I have to ask briefly, Gail, could someone like Stinky ever be released back into the wild?
No, and this does happen a lot. I get a lot of calls from people saying this duck walked up to me and it doesn't want to leave me. What am I supposed to do? And basically, it's a death sentence to an imprint to put it in the wild. People do it with all kinds of ducks that they've raised, not just the Muscovies. We get a lot of pecans, the big white ducks. People will get them at springtime, Easter time, and then they dump them. And it's illegal. Not that that seems to matter to people, but it's killing the duck. Literally, they don't understand predators, so they're going to not run away when they should. And then also, they don't know how to get their own food. So they really... And they walk up to dogs, like if they're raised with a dog, they'll walk up to it thinking that it's going to be their friend. And then they get killed by it. So we get a lot of dog attacks and stuff like that of the ducks. He wants to lay down and snuggle in.
Oh yeah, well it's probably nap time for Stinky, but Gail and Stinky, thank you so much for joining us for today's Muscovy Minute.
Of course.
Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel for more cool content. If everyone watching donates just $5 or $10 today, we will meet our $5,000 goal to get these ducks into their new facility. You can donate through the link tree in the comments. Thank you so much for watching and supporting Muscovy Sanctuary of Florida.